Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I'm going to have a bit of a rant right now, okay? And this rant is aimed at people in South Africa. I'm going to just say 3 words and then I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about. Eendracht maakt macht. And I'm talking about what is happening in South Africa today. It is quite clear that the ANC government, this corrupt gangster state run by a gangster-in-chief, Cyril Hippo Eyes Ramaphosa, is in complete destruction mode. The whole thing is falling apart at the seams. And we always talk about Eskom. We always talk about South African Airways. We always talk about the other state-owned enterprises which are just collapsing in a heap under this load of crap, which is the black privileged ANC government, which are stealing left, right and center. The 2 organizations, or the 2 arms of the ANC government, which are also falling apart, are the South African Police Service and the South African National Defence Force, which just yesterday I put a video up where they said that they can't maintain the vehicles, they can't maintain the planes, they can't maintain anything. It's a load of shit. Anyone could just walk into South Africa right now and take over. Anyone with a half-decent army. Now, in South Africa, there are people who are very concerned about the future of the country. And Sina van Rensburg always talked about the man in the brown suit. Let me tell you something, that if certain organizations work together, South Africa's future could be turned around like that. What it would mean is kicking out the ANC government, having martial law, and installing people who knew what the heck they were doing in ministerial positions. You could do it within a week. Seriously, you could. Because South Africa is stuffed. The army is stuffed. The police force is stuffed. Look at the ministers. Bekesele. The woman who runs the SANDF, I don't think she would actually know anything about the Defence Force. She's just there because she's a black privileged ANC cadre. You've got an extremely vulnerable South Africa right now. And you've got a population of minority people, and I'm including in there Indians, whites and colored people who have been persecuted by these black privileged ANC members. And not only that, but most of the black African population in South Africa would welcome a change, welcome getting rid of the ANC government. The country, as I said in the earlier video yesterday, the country is ripe for the picking. All you've got to do is incarcerate the leaders, the Ace Magashulas, the David Mabuzas, the Cyril Ramaphosas, the Dlamini Zumas. Get them all behind bars where they belong. They've been facilitating this corruption and destruction of South Africa. It's like a citizen's arrest. A citizen's arrest is where you see someone doing something wrong and you arrest them, call the police, and they then go and charge them. Now, what you've got in South Africa is no different. You've got the people who've landed up in authority through deception. Yeah, this whole thing in 1994 was a complete load of crap. And they have destroyed the country, basically. We have a small sliver of time right now to take back the country. Make it a truly democratic country. Get rid of the terrorists, get rid of the EFF, get rid of Julius Malema, put him on Robben Island forever. Slimy little prick that he is. And while I'm talking about that, guess what you can do, Julius? You can go and pog my horn. Look, guys, this is really a moment in time right now, and I'm appealing to people who know a lot more than I do. The Vaynants, the Isaacs, the Hein, these people who know what's going on. Look, there's this opportunity to get rid of the scum that runs South Africa. I'm talking about the ANC government. Get rid of them. Close the whole bloody thing down. Put in an interim government of people who know what they're doing, because the South African National Defence Force is a joke. The police force is a joke. That's it. Put in an interim government, and then once that's in play, have democratic elections excluding parties like the ANC who've shown that they are deceitful, and have a judicial discussion on that whole thing. That's fine. But look, it's self-evident, the corruption. Get rid of parties like the Economic Freedom Fighters, who clearly are just a terrorist organization bent on sowing racial division. Get rid of all these corrupt, feral political parties and have a completely new election with parties that actually are going to do something constructive. It's so simple. And the timing is so important right now, because right now the World Economic Forum are talking about the Great Reset, the global government, the global currency. Right now, South Africa could become the Irania of the world, a country which is completely out of the Great Reset. It could be a place where Christianity and those moral values that we all uphold could just happen, could be in a society that could grow wonderfully, regardless of race. Right now, what you've got at your throat is Satan's seed. We have to cast that off, guys. We have to cast that off. Look, the rest of the world is completely cactus. Europe, look at Europe. Look what's happening in Europe. Look what's happening in the United States of America. Australia is still pretty well okay. But look at countries like China, where the population are so controlled now by President Xi, who's going to be president for life, and countries like India, where it's devastating what's happening in India. We just don't hear about it. Look at the Middle East, a complete disaster. South America, the poverty is absolutely mind-blowing in most of those countries. And you've got this little southern tip of Africa, where you've got 4 or 5 million white people living who are completely persecuted. You've got a large number of brown or colored people who are also feeling completely left out by this corrupt ANC government. And then you've got the Indian community, largely in KwaZulu-Natal. And that's because the Indians used to work on the sugar fields in Natal way back when. That's why they were brought in. And Indian community is a wonderful community. I've got a lot of Indian friends in South Africa. Now, if these communities got together and after removing the ANC government from power, which would not be, it's a walk in the park, guys. The South African National Defence Force is a complete joke. The South African Police Service is corrupt. And yes, there's some very good police in there. But let me assure you that if something was coordinated and planned and done properly, you would bring in a far safer government, democratic government, completely elected by the entire voting community, but without those feral political parties that I've referred to, the ANC and the EFF. You know, now is the time, guys. Now is the time. I don't know how else to say it. Now is the time to get rid of the shit. Get rid of the ace magashulas. Get rid of all these guys who are so friggin' corrupt, have done so much wrong, you know, and they get a free pass. It's time the adults in the room stood up and said, I'm chatvol, enough is enough. We are going to take back this country, and we're going to make sure that this time around it's run properly. That is my dream for Christmas, guys. That is my dream for Christmas, that something like this happens. Because as I said to you before, you have no opposition. The army is absolutely stuffed. Just like every other state-owned enterprise that's been run into the ground. Really, there is a window of opportunity to turn South Africa around and make it the only country in the world that just runs itself outside this so-called global government. This is probably what Sina van Rensburg was talking about. I know what I've said right now is highly controversial, but you can't ignore the facts that South Africa is like a piece of shit floating on the river. And what it needs is for someone to pull it onto shore and rebuild it into the beautiful, wonderful, inclusive rainbow nation that it was supposed to be. Because clearly, what the ANC and parties like the EFF have done to South Africa is basically take it to the point where it is going to destroy so many lives. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Please ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.